Alrighty. Well, we up in here. Welcome back to Winning Hand Podcast. My name is Royal Flush, aka Draco Rex, aka the Asian Gambit. What's up, Logical Nonsense? Thank you for coming through, bruh. Shit, recording an intro song. I mean, bruh, I wish I was that talented. I wish I was talented, like, you know what I'm saying? Sick in them, but I am not. So I don't want to be out here looking like Kid Smooth in this bitch, you know what I'm saying? So no, thank you. You're not gonna have me looking like Kid Smooth out here, you know what I mean? But thanks for coming through though. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, man, we in here for another one. I'll try to be quick tonight. I got shit to do in the morning, so it'll probably be an hour and a half or so. Um, but yeah, man. So what do we got so far? Microsoft, right? It's July event. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not gonna lie. Here's the reason why I'm looking forward to it. I never cared about right? I mean, you don't want me out here looking all goofy and shit with my rhyming skills because I don't have any. I'm not gonna pretend like I do. You know what I'm saying? I'll be the motherfucker on the song that does the hook. You know what I'm saying? I'll kill it with the hook, but I ain't got no bars, bruh. It'll probably take me like a day or so to even come up with a decent what's up startup. Um, Probably take me like at least a decent fucking day or so to even write up a couple bars, and I wouldn't even know if I'd be able to deliver them correctly or not. You know what I mean? Rapping is not one of my talent. I wish it was, but it's not. But yeah, man, we in here. So recently, Microsoft announced they're gonna shut down all their stores. To be honest with you, where I live, there I don't believe there is a Microsoft store. If there is, then I don't know about it. I don't really know about no Microsoft store where I live at. But that's not really saying anything about Microsoft at all. I mean, that's just more about the times, what we're doing, where we live in nowadays. People don't really give a fuck about um, hard copies no more. Hard copies are going away. Matter of fact, I don't think they'll go away permanently, like completely. There will be specialties, like you know what I mean. Nowadays, there's no vinyl records, but there's still certain areas where you can go get vinyl records and shit because it's a specialty item. You know what I mean? And I feel like gaming, disc and all that, that'll be the same way. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's not so much about them saving money. Really, it's because Microsoft, like every Xbox fanboy would tell you, they have all the money in the world, which they do. They balling ass company. You know what I mean? It's just an unnecessary, thing to have nowadays to have a hardware store, not hardware in like a Ace or a Home Depot. I mean like a store that sells hardware products because nowadays Amazon and all that kind of stuff kind of rule the world. It's just the world we live in nowadays. Like no one buys CDs no more. I don't know how many people buy CDs no more. You know what I mean? But they still make them, right? They still make them for people who actually buy those CDs. But they're even vinyl records. They still make vinyl records out in this bitch. But it's not like the norm anymore. The norm is digital. Now, digital, I don't mean by streaming. I just mean, owning a copy of digital shit. Like a lot of games that I've been buying is digital. Um, some of the games that I love, I bought digitally. I didn't even buy a hard copy of that shit. And so that's why they're closing all their Microsoft stores, and it's whatever. I don't really know yet, Logical Nonsense. I actually like the way the bulky PlayStation 5 look, and plus I'm not sure I'm ready to give up hard copies yet, but I can understand it. Um, I'm actually leaning towards the hard copy version, but you never know. I might change my mind by the time it comes out because I haven't bought a lot of games digitally. Um, right now, I think I have about um, somewhere between 10 to 14 games that I have that's a hard copy and a whole bunch of them that are digital. You know what I mean? My digital collection is bigger than my hard copy collections at this point, you know? So that's just, in my opinion, that's just the signs of the times. Things are just going that way. We're slowly moving from hard copy physical games to digital only. Um, some of us are not okay with that. Some of us are okay with it. Others don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? It's just as long as they can play games. I mean, a lot of us nowadays are okay with the streaming games. I'm not okay with it. You know what I mean? I always feel like a downloaded game, whether it's the disc version or downloading it digitally. You know what I mean? I prefer that. I don't want to stream games. Not at the current infrastructure that we have. I can't have that many fucking variables when I'm playing a game. Like certain games, you can't have no lag. You know what I mean? Fighting games. That's why net codes for fighting games is very important. You need good net code for a good fighting game to be successful online. You know what I mean? So just stuff like that is why I prefer not to do streaming. But Microsoft stores, they close. That's very normal. I'm not faulting them for that at all. I think that's just what happens. You know what I mean? It's just what happens. Like at this point in the game, that's natural. That shit's gonna happen. Um, Now the thing is, they're closing all their store indefinitely because you know and I'm glad they announced that properly instead of oh things might change in the future. They're like, no, indefinitely, motherfucker. We don't need fucking physical stores no more. And if you do want to get something physical, like a console, right, or a controller or something, you just order it online. They ship it to your ass. And it's due to it's not even due to coronavirus or anything like that. I mean, it has something to do with it, but it don't really matter. You know what I mean? It's just more about the way businesses look nowadays. 7 FPS. I don't know about all that, man. I mean, at this point in the game, I feel like that's the route that companies are going with. I mean, of course, even PlayStation has PlayStation 5 has a digital only edition, right? Which, to be honest with you, I feel like the digital only edition will sell better than the PlayStation 5 physical edition. Mainly because a lot of people have been going more digital lately, and also um, pretty sure it's going to be cheaper. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if the digital versions sell better than the hard disk edition. You know what I mean? And that's fine. Me myself personally, I think I'm still going to go with the hard disk edition. First of all, because I think it looked better. I think it looks more unique the way it's shaped. If you want to talk about it looks like a router, that digital only edition looks a lot more like a router than the fat boy version of it. You know what I mean? The one with the disk slot. So I mean, me personally, I prefer the one with the physical. You know what I mean? But who knows? I might change my mind by the time it gets out there. Right? The price isn't that big of a deal. I mean, it's $100 difference. I'm gonna keep that console for at least 4 or 5 years at least, as long as it doesn't fuck up. I'll keep it for the whole generation. I mean, this generation I didn't really need to upgrade to a Pro. I only did it because my PlayStation 4, the first one I have, was starting to fuck up real bad, so I had to upgrade. I mean, you know what I mean? If you're gonna get rid of a PlayStation 4, why would you not go to a Pro? Why would you buy another regular one again, right? So that's what I did, man. And I see the Microsoft Store closing like that. It's not so much anything internal with the company. You know what I mean? It's not really something internal with the company. It's just more like the signs of the times, right? People are doing more and more digital. Like our music collection is digital, right? And which with that being said, if some kind of zombie apocalypse do happen, like or like a infection, like The Last of Us or something like that, music's gonna be hard as fuck to find in that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Because most motherfuckers got rid of all digital copies. Just finding a CD or a cassette player is gonna be so fucking rare. It's gonna be rare as fuck to find a CD or like a cassette or something. if you have power to play that bitch, you know what I mean? If you have a generator, or luckily you live in a town like Jackson where Ellie and them live, to have power and all that, to be able to enjoy music and all that other shit, you know what I mean? Find batteries for your Walkman and shit, right? I mean, it's gonna be hard as fuck to find music if this shit fall apart, because everything is damn near digital nowadays, right? I mean, most people don't even own digital copies of music no more. They stream it, right? And so that's what I think about the Microsoft Store closing. It's just, what's up, Cyber Dragon? I mean, it's not anything weird that's going on internally with the companies or anything like that. That's just the signs of the time, right? I mean, Microsoft has shown off the Xbox Series, right? Hasn't even showed off the digital only edition yet, the Scarlet. I'm assuming that's what the Scarlet is, right? Um, why wouldn't it be? I'm thinking it's just a digital only edition, and PlayStation have their own digital only edition. That's where we're heading towards. So stores and all that other stuff is unnecessary for that. If you want to buy some shit, you can order it online. Like a controller if you need it, or anything like that, you can order online. They'll ship it to your ass. First of all, it's safer for people that way. You wouldn't have to walk out into the store and shit. You know what I mean, with this whole Corona shit going on. But that's not really why. That's just the signs of the times. Now, Mixer closing, on the other hand, that shit's crazy. And you know why that shit's crazy? It's crazy because of how much money they put into it. I mean, I expect that shit. I mean, OBJ, I feel like the bullshit that's been happening with this and with The Last of Us and all this other shit, motherfuckers just need some shit to cry about. Most motherfuckers who I want to say most people who hate it hasn't played the game, right? I mean, most people hate it because they haven't played the game. The other people who dislike it because they play the game is because it just doesn't sit well with them, and that's fine. I don't really give a fuck. I don't really give a fuck. You know what I mean? What's up, Persona? I mean, I don't really give a fuck about your opinion of the game. I just give a fuck about my own opinion of the game, right? And I'll express them. If y'all don't give a fuck about it either, that's fine. You know what I mean? If y'all enjoy the game, we can discuss it on the fact that we both enjoy it. If you didn't enjoy it, I could discuss it with you on the fact that you didn't enjoy it. What is it that you didn't enjoy? What do you think that's missing? You know what I mean? All that other shit. But the shit that's going on nowadays, I don't really give a fuck, man. I don't. The shit sold like, you know what I'm saying? The shit sold like fucking 4 point something million within a couple of days. I mean, I feel like that's good. But, you know, the topic at hand, I mean, I just want to talk about Microsoft at the moment. So the store's closing. That's nothing weird. Everything's going to digital. So there's not much reasons to have a store no more, really. I mean, there's no Microsoft stores in the city I live in that I know of. You know what I mean? Um, but Mixer closing, that's a big deal, fam. Shutting down Mixer practically with no warning. I mean, I feel like their employees and the people that work on Mixer was just as surprised as us. You know what I mean? They wasn't even ready. The amount of people that lost their jobs and all that other shit. Now they came out and said, no one is losing their job when they're closing the Microsoft stores, right? I don't know how true that could be. Like, what other jobs is the cashier that works there gonna do, right? But the Mixer shit closing, that just shows that it wasn't lucrative. There was just no reason to have it. And realistically, it's a streaming service, right? Not so much streaming like a game streaming service. It's a service where motherfuckers stream they shit and like a Twitch, YouTube type shit. And it's not popular enough. Motherfuckers just don't go there. And the thing is, it's owned by Microsoft, so it needs to be used to play Microsoft games on that bitch, and it's just not doing well. But that's how it is with all games, all Sony games though. OJ, I noticed that. You ever notice that shit? Sony games when them bitch come out, motherfuckers become like motherfuckers become like uh scientists with the microscope, but They don't see no other issues with no other games. You know what's weird about me? The games that I like, I actually put the microscope to the most because I like. You know what I'm saying? I like them. So if you come out with a sequel for a game that I like, I'm actually the biggest critics of them, right? And I can't even grasp the idea of motherfuckers when they hate a game without even playing it. Motherfuckers out here. I mean, I'll get to that later. I mean, Last of Us final thoughts. I'll get to it later, but it's just crazy. Motherfuckers out here reviewing games without playing them, and I'm like, motherfucker, what are we doing out here, right? But this July event for Microsoft, man, I'm gonna tell y'all something about me. You know what I mean? I always feel like I would much rather anyone in my life, anyone, whether growing up, whether it's my parents, the women's I fucked with, you know what I mean, my homies, all of that. I would rather them have high expectations of me, and sometime I might not be able to deliver. Sometime I might let them down here and there. You know what I mean? Not all the time, but sometimes that shit happens because I'm only human. I can't be perfect all the fucking time. But I would prefer that motherfuckers have high expectations of me, and I fail them once in a while. Sometimes I'll rise to the occasion, you know what I'm saying, do my fucking thing, and sometimes I might not be able to. You know what I mean? Right? But I would much rather that than have you not think much of me at all. Right? Just not think much of me at all, and I never disappoint you. You feel what I'm saying? I never disappoint you because you don't have much expectations of me, period. You never had much expectations of me, period. So why would you ever be disappointed in me? You know what I mean? If I fuck up somewhere and be like, oh, of course you would, motherfucker. You know what I mean? What does that say about me, and what does that say about what you expected of me? You only get disappointed by people where you feel like they're better than that. You know what I mean? And that's what I feel about Microsoft. I always have high expectations for all companies that's trying to get my money because it's my motherfucking money. You know what I mean? I haven't even fucked with Grounded yet. In survival mode, I haven't even fucking start that shit yet, OJ. I'm still on hard mode. You know what I mean? I haven't even complete the hard mode run yet, the hard plus mode. But you know what I mean? Oh, you mean Grounded? Grounded the game? I thought you meant Grounded the mode in The Last of Us. I mean, all around, bro. That actually ties into what I'm saying right now. I feel like when you play a game, fam, or look at game showcases from anybody, from Nintendo, from Xbox, from PlayStation, from anyone, I have high expectations of you. I mean, I'm looking at you like, all right, I'm about to spend some money on some video game shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to spend some money. You know what I'm saying? If you play video games like that, like it's no surprise if you spend thousands of dollars. Some of us spend tens of thousands of dollars within a gaming generation. You know what I mean? I have to make sure that shit's worth it, right? It has to be worth my time and money invested. I'm not out here looking for trash, and I'm not gonna like have low expectations just so I won't be disappointed. No, I have high expectations. I know you can't always meet them, and that's fine, but I need you to hit those benchmarks once in a while. Once in a while. You feel me? This whole generation, Xbox has not done that for me at all. I don't even have a fucking Xbox this generation. It's rare that I go a whole generation and only own one device, but that's what's been happening this generation. I mean, you call me a pony, PlayStation fanboy, all that shit as much as you want. It's not my fault, all right? It's not my fault if I am a pony, right? It's the company that you cap for. It's their fault for not giving me the same reason to buy their shit like I buy Sony products. That's just how the game goes, man. I'm not gonna be out here spending money on your company if I don't feel like it's worth the money. Do you know how much money motherfuckers put into gaming at the start of a generation? A console is like at least $400, four, five, maybe even $600. And we'll see what I'm saying these PS5 and Xbox Series is running for, right? But at this point in time, man, that shit's fucking that shit like the day the console come out, that's about at least $500-600 I'm spending right there because I gotta buy the console, and it's pointless to buy a console without no games, right? So you gotta buy the console and you gotta buy a couple of games that come along with it, day one releases and all that other shit. So it's gonna cost me at least $500. Now, if you show me some bullshit, what do you expect me to do? Now, it's funny because every fucking year or so, Microsoft has an event, right? And they talk that shit up. Now, of course, you should because it's marketing. It's necessary to get people hyped for your event. And then as soon as right around the corner when the event's about to show up, they were like, well, temper your expectation. No, fuck you. What you mean temper my expectations? I expect a lot. I don't just expect a lot from, what I'm saying, companies that I haven't trust. I expect a lot from companies that I have trust in because I have trust in them. You feel me? Like I expect good shit. I expect good shit. If you're not delivering that shit, then get the fuck up out of my face. I don't want to deal with you. That's just the way it is. And I've seen, rumors of Perfect Dark and Fable and all that shit. I've never been a Fable ass motherfucker, but Perfect Dark, I'm down for a Perfect Dark, man. I mean, I have high expectations. I don't even have like games that I'm looking out for because I don't even know what to look out for. They ain't doing none of Ninja Gaiden, I'll tell you that much. Right? They're not. I don't know what they're doing, but I expect whatever it is they show is either decent or dope. Otherwise, I'm not fucking with it. You know what I mean? Just not fucking with it. Why even tell me to temper my expectation? What kind of nonsense is that? I mean, PlayStation don't tell me to temper my expectations. They know what I expect of them. There's been instances where they come out and say, "Hey, don't expect this game to be there. Don't expect this to be shown." They tell you what not to expect as in what's gonna be shown and what's not gonna be shown, right? But they don't hit you with the temper your expectations. Motherfucker, what are you talking about? This is a video game showcase. If you want me to temper my expectation, what the fuck are you gonna show me? But we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. I'm actually looking forward to it. I want to see what's up. I want to see have they actually turned their ass around? Have they actually been able to turn their shit around and give us some content worth looking at, right? Um, and that's basically it, man. July's gonna be here in about a couple days. I don't even know what day that event is. It's not official yet. I just know that's gonna be here, right? Yeah, cool. I mean, you'll never know. But at the same time, I feel like if they stick to their guns and actually focus on the art of making a game, because video game is art, man. I know people discuss it all the time, but the way Microsoft the way the wheels turn in Microsoft, like I feel like they don't look at it in the same fashion that other developers do. You know what I mean? It's not so much an art for them. It's just a way to make money for their ass. And I'm not with it. I'm just not fucking with it. You know what I mean? I'm just not with it. Like, yes, it is a lucrative fucking business. But in order for you to be profiting off of fucking gaming, you need to be able to satisfy the audience. Like OBJ was talking, you don't see a single soul talking about Grounded. Which is odd, right? If you're an Xbox dude, wouldn't you be talking about Xbox games? But everyone is talking about The Last of Us, whether you played it or not. You know what I'm saying? Whether you played it or not, whether you like it or not, motherfuckers are talking about it. And as much as motherfuckers don't, you know, don't like the game or whatever, you know what I'm saying? As much as motherfuckers say they don't like the game, conversation about that game is still ongoing. And that is art, right? Because not everyone agrees on art. Some people look at a Picasso painting and say, "What the fuck is this mess?" And the other people look at it and say it's a masterpiece. But that's why it's important to have those type of games so you can actually have those kind of discussion. This July event, it gotta be something special for Xbox, for Microsoft. I don't think they can last another generation doing this shit. I don't even think they will have another generation if they show some bullshit. And that's just facts. We see it happen. You know what I'm saying? No one's immune to that shit. Don't get it twisted. Don't act like your fucking don't act like your fucking company ain't never gonna cut off some shit. They cut off Mixer real quick, didn't they? Because it was just not paying off. So we'll see about that shit. But besides from that, upcoming games, I'm not going front, bro. Now that I've beaten not beat. Beat is the wrong word to use when we talking about The Last of Us. You know what I mean? The Last of Us is not really a game that you beat. It's a game that you experience, that you play through to understand it. You know what I mean? But after I played The Last of Us 2, man, a lot of other games just doesn't have that umph for me when it comes to getting me excited to play it. Of course, the next game that I'm really looking forward to playing is Ghost of Tsushima. I think Ghost of Tsushima is gonna be a great game. Avengers look alright, man. I'm not like super into it like that. You know what I mean? The reason why it's not so much the game itself. The game for itself is fine. It looks like it should be a 80 something game, maybe low 90s. I'm pretty sure it's more of a 80 something game. It's just me myself as a person never really was a fan of the Avengers. I like the MCU movies pretty well. Like I like those movies. You know what I mean? But I'm not an Avenger ass motherfucker. I never thought the Avenger was that cool of a team. As y'all could tell, my X-Men motherfucker. I think X-Men is a dope team, right? I mean, growing up, it's always an X-Men and Spider-Man was my bag when it comes to Marvel. And all the other superheroes that are not as famous, like Blade, of course. Blade's really more of a horror centric type of comic. Um, Daredevil and all that, Punisher and all that. But I was never really an Avenger type of motherfucker. I never really even liked um, Captain America and Iron Man and all those characters. They're actually not the characters that I actually like that. The movies did a great job of giving them their spotlight and stuff, and the MCU is huge nowadays. But as far as I'm concerned, man, I'm not that big into the Avengers like that. I've never wanted to play Thor in a video game. You know what I mean? Never been, you know what I mean? I don't really care to play as Black Widow in a game or the Hulk in a game. What's up, D? You know what I'm saying? I've just never been into the Avengers like that. I'm not. Yeah, facts, bro. Abby ain't playing with nobody out here. You know what I mean? But like, I've never been that big of a Avenger. I'm not a fan of the Avenger. The reason why I was hyped for Spider-Man is because I love me some Spider-Man. Spider-Man's that shit. All right. If they make a X-Men game, like a full-on X-Men game, I would go nuts for that shit. It's just the Avengers themselves was never a group of motherfuckers that I really care for, growing up. So that's why I'm decently excited for the Avengers, but it's just I've never been that big of a fan of the Avengers. The movies did, make me like them more than back in the day because they flesh out those characters, and all that other shit. But I've just never been that big into the Avengers. Cyberpunk is very weird. I don't want people to think that I'm not gonna play Cyberpunk. I'm pretty sure I will. It's just every time I see new shit about Cyberpunk, I get less excited. I get less hyped for the shit. I don't know why. This is no hate towards CD Projekt Red. I'm sure they would do a great job. You know what I mean? I'm sure the world will be amazing. I'm sure the lore will be great, and I'm pretty sure the story of the game will be great too. It's just it's not a game where I'm like hyped to get into. You know what I mean? At this point, like I am hyped for Ghost of Tsushima, but Ghost of Tsushima is pretty straightforward. You know what I mean? It's a very straightforward. I mean, people talk about The Last of Us 2 being a revenge story. It's not really a revenge story. It's just a story about trauma and how you deal with it, and you know what I mean, the repercussions of the actions that you take. You know what I mean? I mean, the actions that you make is define you as a person, right? And motherfuckers trip over The Last of Us saying, how come Ellie didn't get her revenge? I'm gonna spoil it here in a little bit, so later when, I start talking about The Last of Us 2 for real like that, and y'all haven't played it, y'all might want to get the fuck up out of here. Or if y'all haven't beat it, y'all might want to get the fuck up out of here. I'll let y'all know when, though. I'm not gonna do y'all like that. But Ghost of Tsushima is a fucking, you know what I'm saying, is a revenge story. That's a full-on revenge story. Last of Us 2, I mean, revenge sets you off on your path, but it's not really about revenge. It's a character study. You know what I mean? So I mean, there are games that are coming out that I'm going to play. Some I'm more hyped for than others. You know what I mean? Ghost, of course, is up there. Um, Avengers, I mean, Avengers cool. You know what I mean? Like it's just those characters. I'm not really that invested in them like that. You feel me? I'm just it's just lukewarm on the Avengers as a team, as those characters, those members. But I mean, the game should be enjoyable enough to for me to sink however many hours is in there. I've watched the trailers, I've seen the previews. You know, I kind of get the idea of the story. Some Avenger fucked up something, and a group of motherfucking Modocs in that bitch, and Modoc basically turned the public against the Avengers, and now, of course, it's somewhat of a redemption arc. Not so much redemption because they were set up in a way. So, you know what I mean? Godfather guy too, man. I'm big into slashers, but I don't know about no slasher looters. I'll see what's up with it. But I'm not overly hyped for it either. I'll fuck around with it though. Like I'm not gonna not play it. You know what I mean? But I feel like the older I get, the more I need shit to move me. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it. I feel like you spend a good 20 something to 40 something, even 50 something hours on a game. It better be worth it, right? Better be worth it. And but we'll see. We'll see. I could change my mind on Cyberpunk once I start playing it. It might be super dope and shit. It's just as of right now, it's it's something I will play, but I'm not saying that I'm super hyped. Like I can't wait to get my hands on it because everything they showed me has not made me say, yeah, I need to cop this immediately. You know what I mean? And I don't mean superficial shit. I don't mean, oh, you get to put a dick on a female, whatever. I don't really care about none of that shit. If you do that, then that's what you do. I'll probably make two characters. I'll probably have like two playthrough. Once as a dude, once as a female. And you know what I mean? They give you the option to do it, and if you do it, that's on you. It's not on them. You know what I mean? If you a dude and you create a character and you make it a chick with a dick, then that's on you. That's what you about, right? I don't know. Like they're video games. They're not supposed to reflect you as a person, but if you take it that way, then it is what it is. But we'll see. You know what I mean? I don't know how hype I am for Avengers and Cyberpunk. If you tell me which game would I rather play right now, Cyberpunk or Avengers, um, that'll be a tough call. I'll probably go with Cyberpunk more than the Avengers, mainly because I know about the Avengers. I know that the powers and the shit that they could do, and I have a pretty good idea of what that game is. But I'm more intrigued in Cyberpunk than I am the Avengers. but not by much. You feel me? Not by much. I mean, Cyberpunk is one of those games where it's gonna be good. Well, you expect it to be good. How good it is, I don't know. Not getting into PS5. Yeah. I mean, Sick is like that too, man. Sick is more is really hyped for the Avengers, and he's alright with Cyberpunk. And me, I'm just if I was a fan of the Avengers, I don't see how I wouldn't be, into it, like into the Avenger game. Like if they made like a X-Men game of the same caliber, I would go nuts. I would be going nuts right now for it. I get to play as fucking Wolverine and Gambit and fucking Storm and them. Like it'll be dope. You know what I mean? Not Cyclops. Fuck Cyclops. Fuck Cyclops. But besides from that, I get to play all these X-Men characters. It'll be lit. So I mean, if you're an Avenger fan, then you'll be all in there. Matter of fact, there'll be a lot of new age Avenger fan because of the MCU movies. That's all about it. Which is whatever. It's whatever. Like that's what y'all into. You know what I mean? That's fine. You know what I mean? I've never been that into Iron Man and Captain America and all that shit when I was a kid. It was more X Men and Spider Man and all these other motherfuckers, Punisher and fucking Blade and all of them more. Well, it can be repetitive, Corey. You get to play like 4 or 5 different characters. I mean, the combat doesn't look bad at all. They look decently nice enough, and you could tell the Thor and Captain America gameplay looked like straight up God of War type shit. You know what I mean? They took a lot of inspiration from God of War. You could tell by the previews they had. You know what I mean? So the gameplay would be at least decent. At least it might be even really good. Yeah, man, I'm actually more hyped for the Cyberpunk anime than I am for the actual game. But the Cyberpunk game, man, like I'm more intrigued in it than I am with the Captain, and not Captain America, the Avenger game. I can't explain to you why. It's just that's how I feel. Like, I mean, it's crazy. My hype was at an all-time high when they first announced Cyberpunk, and every time I see some shit about it, it gets me less hype. And I know like this is the choice of the developers to go with first person, but I felt like they could have done so much more if they did third person. And I don't know they if they went with first person because they'll implement VR in the future. I'm pretty sure they will, right? I think that's why they rather do a first person. But Skyrim gives you the opportunity to do both. Like why can't you do both? You know what I mean? Why can't I have a third person and a first person? But we'll see. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna play both games. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna play the Avenger game, and the Cyberpunk one. I just don't think I'm doing that day one. You know what I mean? Avengers, I'm probably not doing that day one. Cyberpunk, I'm almost sure I'm gonna do day one, but we'll see. You know what I mean? Ghost is for sure day one, and not because it's a PlayStation game, but it's a samurai ninja game, man. How can it? I mean, you know what I mean? How can it not be a day one for me? Of course it's gonna be a day one for me. That's for sure gonna be a day one. Just the sword play and all that. That shit looks dope, man. Cyberpunk repetitive. I feel like because it's set in a cyberpunk universe, you get to do a lot of shit. You know what I mean? You can customize your body and all that other shit to change up your gameplay. Like you can have blade weapons in your arms, like Deus Ex, and you know what I mean. Maybe have a shotgun in the other arm, like built into it and shit. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things they could do with it. It looks promising. It's just I myself am not hyped, like super hyped for it. You feel me? It's just not one of those games that I've been dying to play. But I'm pretty sure I'll do that probably day one. And Avengers I'll come around to it sooner or later. Right? Yeah, man. I'm just waiting on release date at this point, Corey. Ghost is I'm gonna be on Ghost until you know, until I complete it, then I'll move on. Like I don't know about y'all, but like when I play a game like, a heavy story based game like that, I don't really fuck with other games like that. I might like dibble dabble in like little shit like, what I mean, play a little bit of Call of Duty here and there, in between, what I mean, finishing the game and shit, but I really don't play like two, three, heavily narrative based games at once. I'll do one of those and I'll play other games that I've already beaten. I just play certain parts and shit. Right? Yeah, Ghost is gonna be that shit, man. I can't wait. I mean, I've been telling motherfuckers before Last of Us 2 and Ghost even come out, I was more excited for Ghost than I am for The Last of Us 2. But of course, now that I've beaten The Last of Us 2, like that game was incredible. You know what I mean? It hit me on a certain level, motherfuckers just like that I respect and appreciate. You know what I mean? For game developers to take it to that level. Yeah, it's late July. I'm not even exactly sure. I think it is July 24th, but I don't really even remember. All I know is the day that it comes out midnight, I'm playing that bitch. You know what I mean? I'm playing that bit midnight day of release. It can't be that far away. Right? I think it is the 17th, Corey. I think so. Because I know it's not that far away. It's only a couple weeks, like 2, 3 weeks from now. So I think it is the 17th, which we are in there, man. We're like on the cusp of that motherfucking. And it's like motherfuckers talking about, well, you only like the PlayStation games. I mean, it just so happened a lot of PlayStation games are good. What can I tell you, man? You know what I mean? I don't know what to tell you. They drop dope ass shit. I like a lot of third party shit. I can't help it if I that's not a lot of Xbox games that I'm into. There isn't. Like I'm sorry. That's just what it is. I would love to have some Xbox games that I can't wait to play, but we'll wait until that event to see what's up now, won't we? And I don't want to hear no more other excuses. You know what I mean? Fucking Phil Spencer just took over. You gotta give him time. Oh, they just bought these studios. They gotta give him time. Yada yada yada. All right, motherfucker. Well, this new generation is about to pop off in a few months, in about 3 months or so. Well, maybe four. Right? They're coming out holiday season. We'll give it 4 months until October, November ish. Right? Late October, early November. So 4 months from now, next generation is popping off. Like we give them a pass. Not we all, but everyone who fucks with Xbox has given them a whole pass for a whole fucking generation already. And mind you, their downfall is their own fault, none of ours. So I don't even know why we're giving them that pass, but fuck it, give them that pass, right? Give them that pass. This July event better be dope. Not even for my sake, for y'all's sake. You know what I mean? If you fuck with fucking if you fuck with Xbox like that, you gotta have a reason, man. You got to, and that's all I'm saying about that shit. But yeah, man. Upcoming games. There's some games that I'm interested in. Some I'm hyped for. Some I'm lukewarm on, and others I'm in between, somewhere lukewarm and hype. You know what I mean? But the three biggest one, of course, is Avengers, um, Cyberpunk, and Ghosts. And so, Ghosts, of course, I'm hyped for. Uh, Cyberpunk, I'm pretty good with. I'm not saying I'm super hyped for it, but I am excited to see what's up with that game. Avengers is just it's not that it looks like it's a bad game at all. On the contrary, it looks like it's doing everything that a superhero game should be doing. It's just I'm not into the Avengers like that as a superhero team. They wasn't always they're not even I mean, I like the Justice League more than I like the Avengers growing up, man. And speaking of the Justice League, I mean, I say something about this real quick. I know like tension are high when it comes to racial issues and all this other shit, but can motherfuckers stop with the pandering and shit? You know what I mean? Oh, I'm gonna quit playing voice acting this character because it should be voiced by a person of color, if you don't shut your pandering ass up, I hate that shit, man. It's the most annoying shit I've ever seen. Like, why don't you make real differences, real change instead of this like unimportant ass shit? You know what this has to do with Justice League? Y'all ever seen that Justice League cartoon when y'all was younger? I did. I used to love that shit. The Justice League cartoon. You know who voiced um, Green Lantern? Not the white Green Lantern. I'm talking about the black one, John Stewart. Right? He's voiced by Lamar, right? And Lamar also voices Phil Lamar, just in case y'all don't know who I'm talking about. Phil Lamar. He voices the Green Lantern. He does an amazing job as that Green Lantern. You're actually he's actually believable, very believable as that Green Lantern. You know who he also voiced? Samurai fucking Jack, fam. A black man voiced Samurai Jack. A black man voicing a Japanese man. You know what I mean? I'm fine with that because he did an amazing job. Samurai Jack's voice is exactly how I think his voice would be. It wasn't insulting or anything like that. He has that, and you know what I mean, naivety to him. Like, you know what I mean, it fit the character perfectly, and he did a great job at it. I mean, what are we gonna do next? Like, we can't have white people do voice acting like dubbed over for animes no more. Like, what are we doing? We can't have Rachel fucking voice Misaki-chan no more because Misaki's Japanese. I mean, and not all anime characters are Japanese people, but a majority of anime is based on the fucking, Japanese people. One of the best dubbed anime to this day is Yu Yu Hakusho, right? And everyone in Yu Yu Hakusho is Japanese. And I think Yu Yu Hakusho is my top three animes of all time. It probably is the top anime of all time for me. And the dub was amazing. And the dub was amazing. It fit the characters perfectly, all that shit. Yu Yu Hakusho is actually one of those animes that I prefer watching in dubbed instead of actually watching in sub. I usually watch it in sub, you know what I mean? But where are we gonna go from here, dude? Like, it just makes no sense. I forgot. I saw this article. Some lady was doing a voice acting for an Asian girl, and the fucking show is already over, and she talking about she regret doing it. Why, bitch? Why? If someone does a fucking if someone does a fucking cartoon or an anime and is based on me, I would hope that you find a motherfucker that fit my voice, my character as a person, not another Asian motherfucker. I don't need an Asian motherfucker to do my voice, to be authentic about it. I need a motherfucker who does my voice. You feel me? And the thing with that is not so much like disrespecting any race of people. It's just these are cartoon characters. They're not even real. The important thing for a voice actor is, can you convey the emotion behind the character? Can you convey, you know what I'm saying, uh, the whatever the personality of that character. That's what's important. The dude who voiced Cleveland on Family Guy is a white dude, so now he doesn't feel comfortable doing that shit no more. I'll tell you why that is, Corey. Because Goku and all the characters, they're not really. I don't know how to explain this. They're not really human. Not even the human characters are human. They're caricatures. They're based off of characters that been existing forever. You know what I mean? You should look at them more like sprites than actual. You know what I mean? The type of characters that you're used to. They're more like sprites. They're not even on our world. You know what I mean? Even though it says Earth, but that Earth is not the Earth that we know of. It's a fantasy world. Goku should always sound like a kid because that's what he embodies. That's why his voice is so fucking annoying in Japanese. You know what I'm saying? In the sub version. You know whose voice is even more annoying than him? Wukong, the motherfucker he's fucking modeled after. because Wukong sounds like a fucking monkey. Like literally, he sounds like a fucking monkey because he is a monkey. You understand? That's why they sound the way they sound. But you know, in the English dub, it is what it is, and I love the dude who does the dub for Vegeta. I think Vegeta, the dude who got who does the voice of Vegeta in English is perfect. I forgot his name though. Bald headed dude. He does a lot of voice acting work. Um, but yeah, I mean, I hate that shit, man. I hate that shit. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time, and we could be focusing on more poignant issues. You know what I mean? How about you use that shit? See that? Y'all having debate over, Japanese voice for Goku or English dub for Goku. To be real with you, I grew up I grew up watching it in Vietnamese dubs. Because the first time I watched Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball as a kid, I watched it in Vietnam, and it was dubbed in Vietnamese. That's all good, Corey. As long as motherfucker got my demeanor correct, got my voice correct, it's whatever. I don't give a fuck what race he is. I feel like it's disrespectful to the character if you don't find the right person to voice them. You know. But I mean, I don't. It's not a political channel at all. I just feel like that's mad annoying to even see that type of shit. And if you're a black voice actor and you have a problem with that type of shit that white people voice black characters, then I better not ever see your ass voice any other race besides from black people. I'm just saying, don't have me, you know what I mean? Don't pull no um, Samuel L. Jackson, Charlie Murphy shit and voice white dudes. Rest in peace to Charlie Murphy. But them motherfuckers did a great job voicing them dudes off of Boondocks, didn't they? That shit was hilarious. Like you could tell that it's Charlie Murphy voice, but it's still hilarious hearing it coming out of a white dude's mouth, right? My favorite part is the part where he was talking about Middle Eastern girls. He was like something about because the eyes are real pretty. I'm really into eyes, and they take off their masks. It's a travesty. That shit be killing me, bruh. Shit be killing me. You know what I mean? I don't. The last thing I want to hear from a black voice actor is a problem with that, because then you shouldn't be voicing any other race either. You should stick to only voicing black people, and that demeans the ability of a voice actor. The job of a voice actor is to bring a character to life, and when it comes to that, I don't see race in a voice. That's the only time I don't. You know what I mean? I mean, I see race everywhere, and I appreciate all races. To say that you don't see race, that's kind of racist, to be honest with you. If you don't see race, that means you don't care to even notice that shit. Like you bullshitting if you say you don't see race. I see it and I respect it. You know what I mean? But the thing is, when it comes to voice acting, it should be appropriate. It should be the appropriate voice for the appropriate character. I don't give a fuck what race you are, as long as you do a good job bringing that character to life. It's all that matters. I'm sorry if I'm going on a tangent about this shit. I just been seeing this shit and I just feel like it's so fucking dumb. You know what I mean? It's so fucking dumb. But yeah, man. I'm gonna talk about The Last of Us. You know what I mean? For a little bit, will be some spoilers ahead. So if you haven't beaten The Last of Us 2 yet and you don't want to be all the way spoiled, I suggest y'all leave now. I'm just warning you now. I don't want to do that to y'all because I feel like this game deserves a fair shake. It deserves to be played. Now you can hate it or love it. It doesn't matter. But you know what I mean? It's one of those type of games where you should experience it yourself and feel how you want to feel about it, whether you love it or hate it, right? Me, I loved it. You know why I loved it? It's not like I've never experienced a story like this before. I have. Matter of fact, let me tell y'all something, right? Where I'm from, there's plenty of stories like The Last of Us. Let me give you a very good example. If you don't like to see different sides of a coin, right? I don't know how y'all would make it through reading fuck Romance of the Three Kingdoms. You know what I mean? Those games like Dynasty Warriors and all that other shit is based on this fucking gigantic ass novel called Romance of the Three Kingdoms, right? And Romance of the Three Kingdoms is basically about three different kingdoms all trying to fight over who rules all, right? And within each kingdom, there are good people, there are bad people. There's heroic motherfuckers, there's bullshitting ass motherfuckers in each kingdom, right? And and when you read through the book is so long that by the time you finish the book, all the characters that's at the end of the book, at the end of the story, are no longer like it's not the same as in the beginning. Everyone that you read about in the beginning of the story will probably be either dead or completely different. And the craziest part is based on real events. Some of it within the book is kind of embellished, you know what I mean, for poetic sake, you know what I mean? But a lot of it is based on real events. It's about, China during those feudal eras where, different clans basically try to take over the whole country and unify it, right? And so you might pick a side, right? You might pick a side on which kingdom you prefer more than the other. You know what I mean? You might pick a side, but that doesn't make the side that you want to win actually win. And the character that you like, it doesn't mean that they are perfect all around good characters. My favorite my All of my favorite characters have their flaws to them in that story. Matter of fact, Guan Gong, y'all better probably know him better as Guan Yu, right? You know how he died? Guan Yu died from taking a poisonous arrow to the arm, but refused to rest. Like, a motherfucker actually ripped out the arrow out of his fucking arm and was able to patch it up and told him all he needed to do is rest for a while. But when he was in the area he was in, the enemy come through and he was like, fuck it, I ain't no bitch, and went out and fought anyway. Got killed. That motherfucker is known in the East as the fucking god of war. You know what I mean? He's like the Eastern god of war, bruh. But he was a man. It's funny because the gods in Asia usually started off as humans. They wasn't born gods. They ascended to godlyhood, right? And he's basically one of them. Like after his death, people like worshiped him like he's the god of war. But he was killed because of his own arrogance. And that's a story. It's like and it's a moral of the story that you have to understand. No matter how beast of a motherfucker that you are, there's a good chance that what I mean, you might fuck up. And The Last of Us is one of those stories where I vibe with it a lot. To be real with y'all, man, to be really real with y'all, if I was Abby, there wouldn't be a Last of Us 2. I would have killed Ellie and Tommy at that moment. You feel me? I'm just keeping it real. Like, ask yourself this, because I've asked myself this before. What would you do if someone came through and killed your father? I'm gonna tell you this right now, and I'm not exaggerating it at all. This is exactly what I would do, right? If your father killed my father, I would have came to your house unannounced so y'all would know I'm coming, and I would break your father's legs and then make him watch me kill you. But I'm not gonna kill your father. I'll keep him alive. Do you understand? Do you understand the level? Like a few days ago when I was doing a non-spoiler edition, and I was talking about The Last of Us, and I was trying to dance around it and shit, so I won't spoil nothing for nobody. I'm gonna be really real with you. That's the type of person I am. That's why I said Abby and Ellie are better people than I am, because they both was able to do better than me. If I was Abby, I would have killed Ellie in front of Joel. I'm glad you showed up, you immune ass bitch, and I'm gonna fucking kill Ellie in front of Joel and make Joel watch me do it. The difference is I won't kill Joel. I'll just like if your father killed my father, that's what I would have done. I would have showed up at your house, beat the brakes off of his legs, like break both of his legs, and kill your mama and you in front of him, and cut off his dick, but make sure I keep him alive so he'll be a crippled, dickless fuck for the rest of his life, and know that I killed his wife and his children. Because the difference is, I'm not out for justice. You feel me? I'm out for revenge. Fuck you and your whole family. You understand? That's the difference between me and y'all. I know myself well enough. And people and the people who hate it so much is because they don't want that. They want the characters that they love so much to not be affected by the bullshit. It's how you know people are not able to deal with responsibility of your own actions. You know what I mean? You have you have your actions and you have the actions of others. You either accept what you do or you don't. But either way, your actions have repercussions. Oh yeah, Corey. Like I said, man. Like I don't play that shit. My dad's already passed away from you know what I mean, from natural circumstances. He died of lung cancer, right? But my mother's still alive, and I love my mother. There's not much I wouldn't do for her. So if you ever fuck with my family like that, that's what would happen, and I promise you that that's what happens. That's just the way the game goes, man. And if you know what I'm saying, and if that happens, and one of your nieces and nephews come after me afterwards, then that's just how I'm gonna have to deal with it. If they lucky, they'll get me. If not, I'm killing them motherfuckers too. That's how it works. I mean, I'm not out for justice. You killed my mama. I'm out for revenge. Fuck all that. You know what justice is? Justice is to to make it fair once again, right? I'm not here to make it fair. I'm here to hurt your whole family as much as you hurt me. That's the bottom line. That's revenge. It has nothing to do with fucking justice. I don't the I don't really believe in justice that much in that form. You know what I mean? If you harm my mother, that's just what's going down. So I mean, Abby is a better person than I am because I would have killed Ellie and fucking Tommy at that moment. She let them go because her whole life, all she's been thinking about. What's up, Raylo? You know what I'm saying? Her whole life, all she's been thinking about is to get revenge on this motherfucker that killed her dad, right? Like she's like focused in, she's like zeroed in on that so much so that she doesn't think about anything else in life. You know what I mean? Like she can't even move on with her life. She can't settle down with a dude that she knows love her and she loves him, right? She couldn't do it because like that shit just eats her on the inside every day. So she trained her whole life to kill this motherfucker because she thinks she will get satisfaction out of it. Now, if I take revenge, it's just so I can hurt you. I don't even know if I'm gonna be satisfied with revenge or not because killing you would not bring back, you know, what I mean, the family member that you took from me. But I can make your life terrible. Just think about that. You know why I do what I would do? Because your actions has consequences, and you're no man is an island, or no woman is an island either. In the case of The Last of Us, you know what I mean. You have your family that you're responsible for. So if you fuck with my family, I'm coming after yours. You understand? You fuck with my mom, you know what I mean? If you, for whatever reason, killed my father or my father's already passed away, so let's just say my mother, right? If you killed my mother, I would come through, break both of your legs, kill your kids in front of you and make you watch and cut your dick off and make you stay alive. That's what's happening. You know what I mean? What up, Thrash? Oh, trick daddy looking ass motherfucker. looking like everybody's high school football coach, motherfucker. But that's the type of person I am, and I'm fine with that. I know myself well enough. But motherfuckers out here tripping over, the characters that they like. Fuck the characters that you like. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you mad at me for killing your dad if your dad fucked my dad up or something. You know what I mean? If your dad killed my dad, then the consequences to your family is a lot worse than what Abby did to you, what I'm saying, Joel, because she only killed Joel. She only killed Joel. You know what I mean? If your father killed mine, I would have killed your whole family in front of your father and make sure he stays a cripple fuck for the rest of his life. I wouldn't even kill him. You know what I mean? I wouldn't kill your dad if he killed my dad. I would break both of his legs and cut his dick off and make sure I keep him alive. But I'll kill the rest of your family though, just so he would know how that feels. That's the type of motherfucker I am. That's why I was like, if I was fucking Abby, there wouldn't be no Last of Us. You know what I mean? There wouldn't be no Last of Us 2 because these motherfuckers would have been dead. And if I was Ellie, it'd be the same way. I can't fault these characters. They're better people than I am. You feel me? They are better people than me because I wouldn't be able to handle that shit. And all this other controversial shit that surrounds this fucking game is fucking nonsense. If you played the game and you didn't like it, that's fine. But if you didn't like it, it's wonderful that you don't, so we can have those type of conversations. But motherfuckers out here ain't trying to have those kind of conversations. They don't want to talk about what makes what they didn't enjoy about the game, what they did enjoy about the game. You know what I mean? That story sucks. Neil Druckmann should be fired. Motherfucker, if it wasn't for Neil Druckmann, there is no Last of Us 1. Get the fuck out of here. I'm on my second playthrough right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm on hard mode plus on the second playthrough. You feel me? But the thing is, I love the game because they actually went there with the story. They didn't have no. I mean, as much as I love God of War, like this new re-envision of the God of War franchise, right? As much as I love that shit, it's still it's still a very straightforward story to me. It's a great story. Don't get me wrong, right? It's a story of redemption. You become the father that you're supposed to be at the end of the game, right? It's a feel good, happy ending story for God of War. It's not for The Last of Us. Matter of fact, to be honest with you, The Last of Us story at the end of it, that's as happy of an ending as you can get. Technically, it is a happy ending. Technically, you know what I mean? Technically, Abby got her redemption, and so did Ellie. Ellie got her redemption. She got her redemption by letting go of the fucking bullshit that keeps her from eating and sleeping at night. At least she'll be able to move forward with her life. That's just the way I see it. You know what I mean? I know I can't be them because I'm not as good of people as they are. I would have killed them motherfuckers. You know what I mean? The thing with me is like I play the game and I appreciate each character for what they are. It is fucked up how they did my man Jesse though. The only Asian motherfucker in the game. Goddamn. Goddamn. Really, you gonna shoot him like that in the face? Goddamn. But I get it though. He's a casualty of the war. It happens. If there is The Last of Us Part 3, I'm gonna need JJ to be the main character. First game was about an old white dude. Second game was about a lesbian white girl. It better be about an Asian, half Jewish motherfucker in the third one, right? Especially after how you did his father. Goddamn. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Twitter is where intelligence go to die, man. I accepted that now. I'm using it. I mean, I'll say some real shit on Twitter sometimes, nowadays, but it's more about just trolling at this point. That's what Twitter is good for. It's not good for no actual conversations and all that other shit. Right. I mean, Last of Us 2 is about trauma and how you live through it. You know what I mean? How do you overcome trauma? Like Ellie went through some shit. She figured, if I can just kill these motherfuckers, I would feel better about it, right? But it ain't because Abby thought so too, and it didn't for her, right? They both got the redemption they needed. Confirmed, good pussy, confirmed. I mean, I guess. I mean, she's so bad that straight motherfuckers try to smash and lesbian bitches trying to get to smash. I mean, I guess so. You know what I mean? But I love the story, man. I loved it because I love the characters and what they had to go through and the redemption arc that both of them go through, right? I can't fault neither character for doing what they're doing. I'm just not as nice as them. That's all. I'm just not as nice as them. Now the game itself, in my opinion, is a masterpiece in writing, in story. True. I mean, because realistically, you live in the world of The Last of Us. Sooner or later, you would die. At least he get to smash and impregnate a bitch. He kept it in. He ain't pulled out for shit. You know what I'm saying? Jesse didn't pull out for shit. You know what I mean? Oh, you gonna break up with me? All right, let's smash one last time. You know what I'm saying? And kept the shit in there. Fuck all that. You know what I mean? I mean, the third game better be about a JJ, okay? Be a half Asian Jewish motherfucker in the building. Big nose having Asian motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I love that story, man. I think that it's really well done. I really appreciate the game for taking it there because a lot of time, video games, even though the story has twists and turns and all this other shit, it's just not. It's still very video game like. You know what I mean? It's never been novel like. The story of The Last of Us 2 and 1 together, since they're part 1 and part 2, so it's basically different volumes of the same book series. You know what I mean? That's some novel type of shit. It's not no video game story like that. There are some like Near Automata. Near Automata is a novel level of storytelling, and you combine that with dope ass gameplay too. It's weird, motherfuckers out here talking about they love everything about it except the story. Well, I have nitpick issues, but not even nitpicks. I actually have real issues with a lot of things with the gameplay, certain things with the pacing and all that other shit. But the story was a 10 out of 10 for me. My favorite thing about the game is the story. Everything else, there are some issues here and there. You know what I mean? Everything has its issues here and there. So I feel like the strongest thing about the game was the story. I think when you first got to Seattle and you was in that big ass environment and you had to like go from building to building and shit, it did slow down the shit for a little bit. But then again, I get it mainly because the shit that happens right before that. Oh, facts. I mean, we could do it all over. I haven't gotten tired of talking about this game yet, Thrash. I mean, we could do another one whenever. You know what I'm saying? We could do one tomorrow if you would like. I mean, there's certain parts in the game where I do have some issues. I do have some problems with it. But I love the story. The story makes perfect sense to me. You know what I mean? I love the fucking. Um, it's like this, right? When you got to Seattle, right, and it slows it down, I think the reason why is so the player can just get over what just happened, like deal with the grief that just happened. Because we all like Joel. I mean, I like Joel as a character, and I don't even fault him for doing what he did in the first game. I would have done the same thing. I don't have children, but say if a pandemic did break out and people start dying left and right, and other people turn into fungus people, right? And for whatever reason my niece is immune to it, And you motherfuckers talking about, well, we had to split her head open and find a cure. Shit, not with my niece, you not. I'll kill this whole fucking hospital before I let you fuck up my niece like that, right? And I feel the same way as Joe. I would have done the exact same thing. I wouldn't. I don't blame him as a character at all. I love that character. But if you have a problem with his end, then that means you're not. You have a problem with owning up to your actions. Like I told you, we all have the actions that we do define us as a person, right? So if you fuck somebody else up, don't expect them not to come back and do the same to you or yours. I've told y'all, man, I'm not that great of a person. If if your father killed my father, I would have killed you in front of your father after I broke both of his legs and cut his dick off. But I want to make sure I keep your father alive, so he can, because dead men don't suffer. Do you understand? I want him to suffer because it's about revenge, not about justice. You see the difference? That's the type of person I am. So I don't fault Joe for doing what he did. It's perfectly normal that he would do that. I would have done the same thing. But there are, what I'm saying, repercussions to everything. If you're telling me, the story's fucked up because Joe shouldn't have gone out like that, then I mean, you don't you don't believe that a motherfucker should not face consequences just because you like them? Is that what it is? You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure the motherfuckers who need George Floyd on the neck for 8 9 minutes has family that loves him too. He shouldn't be held responsible. How do y'all feel now? Hmm? How do y'all feel now? Should we not bring him to justice? Right? And I know that's a touchy subject, but I'm just, I mean, it's poignant. I would have done the same thing Abby would. I would have done way worse. I would have killed Tommy and Ellie in front of him. You feel me? That's just how it's going down. Especially in this world that they're living in. All they did, think about this. They traveled all the way from Seattle to Jackson just to kill Joel and let Ellie and Tommy live. The moment Tommy said that he was Joel's brother, that should have been it. That should have been it. You know what I'm saying? You dead. Fuck you and your brother. And your little adoptive immune daughter. Fuck all of y'all. Like, I'm killing all of them. You know what I mean? That's just the way it going down with me. And the same way with Ellie. I mean, Ellie's quest for revenge. I realistically, I mean, at the end, she let Abby go because she was like, I mean, fuck all this. This is just too much shit. Like, killing her won't change anything. Matter of fact, it'll just make me a worse of a person. You know what I mean? So I appreciate her character for doing that. Me, realistically, I don't think I could. I would have killed Abby, bro. If I was Ellie. You know what I'm saying? If I was Ellie, I would have killed her. I'd probably fucking drown Lev in front of her. You know, I'll probably drown Lev in front of her before I kill that bitch, right? But that's me, and I'm not gonna use myself to dictate what these characters are gonna do. You know what I mean? Because Ellie isn't me. She's a much better person than me. She's willing to die for the cause in the first place. You understand? She was willing to die on that fucking table to save mankind already. You already know, like she's about that life already, man. You can't. So I don't expect any, you know what I'm saying, anything that I would do to be what Ellie would do. That's not the type of person that she is. And in a way, I'm glad that she didn't kill Abby, so she can actually move on in a more productive way. that she could deal with her drama and trauma in a better way than I could, because I wouldn't be able to do it. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be able to do it. The story has the right amount of twists and turns. There are issues with it, with the game. You know what I mean? The only reason why it's a 10 out of 10 is because the story is a 12 out of 10. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's other issues, but the story is so good at fucking, in my opinion, I give it a 10 out of 10, and it's not because everything was great about the game. No, there's issues with the game, but because the story is so good, it supersedes all of that shit, in my opinion. All right, and that's just my opinion. I think there's certain areas where there's pacing issues. Like I mentioned, you get to Seattle, you know what I mean, and you have to like ride around. But the reason why I feel like that's even there is just so, of course, you can get supplies, and also so you can, the player can sit there and deal with what happened right before that. You know, Joe getting killed, and you know what I'm saying, all that shit. Like, you wouldn't be able to like process all that within a few, a few minutes of cutscenes. You need to sit through that shit to be able to handle it. You know what I mean? To have some quiet moment with Dina and all that shit, to unpack all that shit. So I see why it's like that, but me, I feel like because I wanted revenge so quick when I was playing the game, I'm like, oh, these motherfuckers killed Joe, I'm about to kill all these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get to it. You know what I mean? I want to hunt each one of them motherfuckers down and kill them, right? I want to see what happened next. I want to see where the Tommy was at, because I was scared that he's gonna die too. That'd be really fucked up. You know what I mean? All that shit. So I was impatient. Part of it is, due to me. I was impatient with that part. The first time I played through, I mean, I got most of it. I think I got most of the shit, but there was shit I was missing because I was just trying to rush through it. You know what I mean? I just want to rush through it, right? I mean, I know that she sees a lot of parallels. Like, me personally, I feel like the reason why she let uh, uh, Abby go is because in order for her to forgive Joel for what Joel did, she has to forgive Abby for what she did. That's just the way I think. The reason why she went that route, and that's why the last scene in the game was, her having that conversation with Joel about how she wanted to forgive him for what he did at the St. Mary's Hospital. Hey, which is really weird because I used to live right next to a St. Mary's Hospital. You know what I mean? I used to live right next to a St. Mary's Hospital, bro. But you know what I mean? That's the way I see it. She wants to forgive Joel, but in order for her to forgive Joel, she has to forgive Abby. You know what I'm saying? Abby killed Joel because Joel killed all the Fireflies, you know, especially her father. So it's understandable. Right? It's understandable that in order for me to forgive this motherfucker for doing what he did, I have to forgive the motherfucker who came after him for revenge for doing what he did in the first place. It's a vicious cycle, and she understands that. That's how I interpreted the game. And people will say, well, the reason why she didn't is because Abby at that moment reminded her of Joel and her when she was younger, and Lev was like her when. I mean, I see it, but I don't see it. You know what I mean? I see it, but I don't see it. And what I mean by that is, if everyone has family, you know what I'm saying? Everyone has family and people that they love. So I mean, it doesn't really fucking matter if you care for this little kid just like Joel cared for me. You know what I mean? In Ellie's mind, right? It doesn't matter. Fuck you and this kid. You know what I mean? I'm here to kill you. And matter of fact, she was willing to like, put a knife to Lev's neck to make fucking Abby fight it. You know what I mean? Didn't give a fuck. But I think she did it only because she would rather forgive Joel and Abby than to not forgive Abby and not forgive Joel at the same time. You feel me? So that's my interpretations of the ending. So realistically, Joel was forgiven by Ellie at the end. He got what he wanted. He has to die first, but he got what he wanted. Is it a melancholy story? It is. You feel me? You know what I mean? It is. But that's why it's so good. That's why, there's like diverging opinions. Some people love it, some people hate it. Some people really legitimately hate the story, which is fine, man. It's just I'm not a fan of people who don't play the game and talk shit about it. Motherfuckers out here talking about they watch the stream and this is the same thing because I'm not critiquing the gameplay or anything. I'm just critiquing the story. Well, do do you understand that gaming is a different medium than everything else? To truly experience the story, you actually have to play the game because there's certain things missing. I don't know what it is, but watching someone play a game, like play a story, a video game with a story, it doesn't hit the same as you actually experiencing that story yourself. You know what I mean? I don't understand. I don't think y'all understand how important it is to and play a game to experience the story. The different nuance, the different feelings you feel when you're on the sticks is different than watching someone else. And I made the joke on sick humor shit on the round table about I know all about fighting, but I watch UFC all the time. You know what I mean? Like, bruh, have y'all ever like taken a kick to the shin, to the side of the shin before? You can watch UFC a thousand times, bro. You can watch someone get kicked in the side of the leg with a low kick a thousand times. But if you never taken one, if you never checked one or taken one, you'll never know how it feels. It's necessary to experience it. You know what I mean? You can watch people race cars all the time. You never felt the adrenaline of actually racing a car in your life. You would never understand. I don't know how it's possible that motherfuckers even make that fucking excuse. You know what I mean? Watch a 20-hour stream and feel like you can fucking review a game. It's fucking nonsense. It's fucking nonsense. I don't understand how motherfuckers even say that type of shit. Like, I don't, I don't like. I'm not even talking about the motherfuckers that haven't played the game, hasn't watched the game at all. They just hating on it. Trans and agenda and all that. Fuck them. Fuck them. All right. Y'all don't play games. I don't even want to use the word gamers because I think that term is fucking convoluted. I'm not talking about, you know what I mean? We talking about people who play video games out here. Y'all don't even play games. Fuck Tyrone Magnus. You know why? Because who not play a game but make like 30 fucking videos about that game? Y'all feel me? I don't. I mean, I golf. I golf from time to time, but I don't do it all the time. My brother got me into it back in the day. When I say back in the day, I'm talking about like 6, 7 years ago, right? When was the last time you see me do a video about golfing and shit? Never ever. You know what I'm saying? Like games that I don't like, games that I don't like and I beat, I probably talk about it once on why I don't like it and I just keep it moving. Who the fuck talk about a game for like days on end that doesn't play it? You know damn well they don't care about the game or even care if it's good or bad. They latch on to, the outrage and, talking shit. The Quartering ain't no gamer. Let's be real here. Quartering is a YouTuber that talked shit about SJW shit, right? And I'm not here for the politics. I'm not here for the politics. I feel like both SJW people are ridiculous and anti SJW people are just as ridiculous. I don't know how long I have left to live. No, I'm that kind of sounds crazy, like I'm about to die or something. I say that because I don't know, I could just get hit by a bus tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And it'd be a wrap. I don't know. I want to experience as much as I can before I go, whenever it is that I go. I'm not gonna discuss a game and tell you how much I hate it when I've never even played it. I don't want to tell y'all to hate a game. I can only tell you and express to you how I feel about it. You understand? How I feel about it. Whether you agree with me or not is just how I feel. If you agree, wonderful. If you don't, we can discuss it, right? But I'm not gonna be out here talking shit about a game over agendas and all that other shit. It doesn't make any sense. And I mean, my thoughts on The Last of Us is I love the story. It's my favorite thing about the game. The switch from going from Ellie to Abby, I didn't have no issues with it. The only issue I have with it is I went from having all kinds of equipment. I went from having a rifle, a shotgun, two pistols. You know what I mean? A straight up piece and a revolver with all kinds of shit already. And when we switch to Abby, it feels like I'm restarting a brand new game because now I'm back down to a rifle and a pistol again. Granted, I mean, you kind of get the weapons back pretty quickly. You get that, little crazy ass little one hitter quitter. That's my favorite one. That's my favorite gun that Abby got. You know what I mean? Uh, in that one safe in the what is that shop, like that Voss shop with all the Voss. Is it Voss or the Chinese dress shop? Like one of those, right? That's my favorite Abby gun. That shit fucking ripped through a motherfucker's head just like that. It's just dope. But that's the issue I have with it. It's just not having all the weapons, and now I have to like redo the skill tree all over again. Like she has no skills. They have to like redo all that shit, right? It bogs down gameplay for me. Not so much story wise. The story was fine for me, and the beat was fine for me for what it is. It's just that shit right there kind of fuck up the story beat and like the gameplay for me. Like I'm like playing with Ellie, I've gotten all this shit already. All of a sudden, I went to Abby and got nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just got to start all over again. I don't know, Corey. I don't know. I feel like the way they did it was on point because if you start out playing as Abby, right, then you might not like Ellie, or maybe you would. It's a tough call. The reason why I said that is because if you start out playing as Abby, like through and through, you know what I mean, then you'll probably enjoy the character enough to not feel bad about Joel to the point where you want to head out to Seattle and find this motherfucker. Like, I think the reason why they give you bare minimum playthrough as Abby um, is because they want you to feel the same way Ellie do to hate Abby to want to find her to find retribution. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's why they did it. Like you need to be like on the same team as Ellie to find these motherfuckers because we played through The Last of Us 1. We played through it with Joel and Ellie. So it's kind of necessary for you to be on the same page as Ellie to go out and kill these motherfuckers, right? Otherwise, I mean, if we play as Abby first, that shit would fall apart. You know what I mean? That shit would probably fall apart because the when you finally transition over to Abby, that's when the flashback of her as a kid, seeing her dad get killed. You know what I mean? Well, not seeing her dad get killed, but come to the realization that fucking Joel came through and murdered her dad. You know what I mean? So it is what it is with the story. Like I don't mind that. I would prefer this though. I would prefer if there was to change the pacing of it at all. I would be where you know you jump back and forth playing as Abby and Ellie. You know what I mean? Like you could still do the portion where you play a very quick portion as Abby going to Jackson, kill Joel. Not so much kill Joel because that's a cutscene, and then you switch to Ellie. Ellie going to Seattle, maybe spending a day there. You know that part where the part where she got into the theater and Dana told her she was pregnant and she fell asleep with the guitar and had that flashback, that dream where she was still a kid and she was at the museum, which is probably one of my favorite part of the game. I feel like right there you could transition to over to Kid Abby and saw that you went to save a zebra with your dad and then found that he got killed, yada yada, right? I think that would be a better transition back and forth, and then you could do a mission or two with Abby, modern day Abby, and then switch back to Ellie waking up, you know what I mean, in the theater, and do that. I think that would have been a better way to go. That's my opinion though. You know what I mean? I think that would be a better way to go, to switch back and forth instead of just having you play through Ellie for a straight section and then switch over to Abby for a straight section, because then it's like I have to start all over again with Abby. It kind of bogged down the gameplay for me a little bit. But of course, I'm no developer. I don't know how that would have turned out, but that's what I would have done. But yeah, man, I mean, I love the story. I understand both characters. Well, I understand basically all the characters, even the side characters. Like they always fleshed out well enough to where I can appreciate all of them. But yeah, man, I think that's about it. I don't know what else to say about this motherfucking game. I think this is the final time I'm talking about. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it, on to in the future as well. It's just as of right now, I think that's where we can keep it. You know what I mean? I think the game is a perfect 10 out of 10, not because the game itself is perfect, right? It's perfect because the story is a 12 out of 10 and it made up for all the other bullshit that's in the game. And I think that's where the problem lies. If you don't fuck with the story, then you know what I mean? It all falls apart. If you don't enjoy the story, it all falls apart. It doesn't matter how good the action is in the game. It doesn't matter how good the gameplay is in the game. If the story didn't grab you, then everything falls apart with the game. I think I seen one of the spoiler review, Corey, for what was his name, Greg Miller, and no one asked that question. I wish I actually asked that question. Maybe I'll reach out to them and see if they would answer my ass, but they probably wouldn't. They don't fucking know me like that. You know what I mean? Who the fuck is this motherfucker? But yeah, man. I think that's good. I think I've gotten everything I want to say about The Last of Us 2. Well, not everything. I could talk about Last of Us for hours. Um, but yeah, man. I hope there is a part three because I think the world is ripe for storytelling. You know. I wouldn't mind. I was just kidding about the JJ part. I'm not kidding. I actually kind of mean it. It would be cool to. Here's my interpretation of the final scene when Ellie was walking out of the building, right? Walking out of the house one last time. She left that guitar behind. I feel like she's going to find Dina because their home is not that far. That farm is not that far from Jackson, right? Because like Tommy showed up there, and Tommy got a fucked up leg and a fucked up eye. He's a fucking pirate. Tommy is a pirate at the end of the fucking game, right? But my interpretation of the story is she's going back to Jackson to look for Dina. So in the third game, I would love to where it's grown ass Ellie, right? Grown ass Ellie because she'll be in her 30s, and JJ will be about 13, 14 years old. So she would be the new Joel. You know what I mean? Something could have happened to Dina, You know what I mean? That's Dina's is, you know what I'm saying, JJ's mom. So if something happened to his mom, it'll be real fucked up. He's down to do whatever, and is forced to leave Jackson for whatever reason. You know what I mean? And Ellie at this point is 19, turning 20, right? By the time JJ's like 13, 14, she would be in her mid 30s. She would be 33, 34. So it'll be a perfect fucking, narrative going forward. I would like that to happen, but who knows? I just don't mind another story. I don't mind another game. It might be difficult because they're doing the HBO show too. You know what I mean? They're doing that HBO show, so we don't really know if it's, if they're ever going to do a game again. Of course, the show might not have anything to do with any of these characters, right? It could be based on another group of people in another part of the country or even the world, even to where none of the story that we know of in the Last of Us game matters in the show at all. But if they do continue the game, I would like it to be about JJ. It'll be dope. Not because he's half Asian, you know what I'm saying? But because I think that would be a good way to go, and also because he's half Asian, motherfucker. But alright, man, I think I rambled on long enough about all this other shit. I appreciate y'all coming through, man. Everybody that came through earlier, everybody that's still here and shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know what else is there. Uh, I hope that I mean the next Microsoft show will be a good one. To be honest with you, that's what I hope for, but I don't expect it to be. I have I have high expectations, but um, very little trust that they could do it. And I hope that it's coming soon, so I have shit to talk about next week. Because to be honest with you, I have no idea what's what's in the works for next week to even talk about on next Sunday. But gaming the gaming culture is always filled with fuck shit enough to where there's always something to talk about. But I appreciate y'all coming through. I mean that. I mean it's I don't know how y'all just come here and sit here and listen to random ass motherfuckers just talk about all this foolishness for about an hour, 2 hours or so. But I do appreciate y'all coming, man. Let's see if there's anything that I need to go over before I leave. Oh, they don't redo the game, the show. I don't think so, bro. The reason why I don't is because we already know the game. We already know the game. If they redo the show, then it wouldn't be as good. And also, you can't find an actor to play Joe and Ellie like that, and for us to believe it because they're already too real in the game. You know what I mean? Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker, they did such a good job of voice acting and the character models and already those characters already exist in my opinion. Don't do a live action of it; it would just be stupid. On that note, though, thank y'all for coming through, man. Royal Flush, Draco Rex, Asian Gambit. Y'all have a good night. Take care of your family, you know what I'm saying, and yourself. And I'll see